How's it going, YouTube? My name is Ari and welcome back to Blue Lion Finance. Now, if you are brand new to the Blue Lion Finance channel, allow for me to just catch you up to speed in sharing with you that this channel, Blue Lion Finance, is all about investing as well as my personal journey to amassing $100,000 within my Vanguard brokerage account. Now, speaking of said account, as of today, that account holds $72,113.77. And we are showing no signs of slowing down. We intend to hit that $100,000 mark within the next 6 months. But regardless of where I'm at, I'm excited because today, and in today's video, I'm gonna be sharing with you insight on a high yield savings account and why I absolutely believe that getting a high yield savings account is a necessity regardless of where you are on your financial journey. But just before we actually dive in, if you could ever so kindly tap on that thumbs up button, it will greatly help me out on this journey in growing the Blue Lion Finance channel. And of course, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button while you're at it. Be more than happy to have you along for the journey with me. With all of that being said, let's get right to it. All right, Blue Lion Finance Nation, let's get started here by simply defining the term, that being interest. And interest is simply the cost of borrowing something. Now, you could be paying interest or you could be receiving interest, and that is all dependent upon whether or not you are the lender or you are the borrower. Now, in the case of a bank, the bank is borrowing your money, and so they are going to be paying you interest for technically doing business with them. But despite popular belief, no, your money, once you deposit it into the bank, does not just sit there and accumulate over time. What's really happening here is you deposit money into the bank, and the banker looks at this money and says, wow, could you imagine if I take this person's money and lend it to this person, and then I will charge them interest because they're borrowing now my money, and in return, I'm going to pay you a little chunk of change. Now, that is essentially what's happening on top of fees and charges that the bank may charge you for doing business with them. So yes, banks are just another form of a business. Do not be fooled. The banks aren't necessarily there to just aid in your financial journey and be a friend to you. They certainly are charging you along the way, which of course we all want to avoid. But because banks are a business and they need a way to make money, they take your money and simply lend it out to other clients and charge those clients interest. And then in return, there you have it. A bank is a sustainable business. And banking has been an industry that has been here for a long, long time. Now, it's here I'll say that it is my personal belief that the banking industry, as well as the entire financial industry, is due for a financial disruption, which, by the way, is happening with things like Bitcoin. But this video is not about Bitcoin, so I'm going to stray away from talking about Bitcoin and talk about these high yield savings accounts. So yes, back on this topic of interest and banking, all banks share their interest rates. Those are known as an annual percentage yield, otherwise known as an APY. Now, these rates can always be found on bank websites, or if you go to bankrate.com, you can find out, mix, match, and compare all these different banks and the rates of interest that they have out. But certainly these rates matter, which is exactly why I'm making this very video for you all, because these rates matter a whole lot more than you probably think. And they matter because the rates from bank to bank vary significantly. You see, while one bank may pay you 1% APY, another bank may only be offering 0.01%. And I know what you're thinking.
All right, wise guy.
Doesn't seem like too much of a drastic difference. And you're somewhat kind of right, but I'm going to stop you there because let's go ahead and actually do the math on some of these numbers. Let's just say I handed you $5,000. Yes, incredibly nice of me, but there you are, $5,000. And you walk right over to a bank that is currently offering 0.01% APY. You deposit your $5,000, and after an entire year of you holding your $5,000 at Bank A is going to pay you a whopping 50 cents. Now, on the other hand, let's just say that you decided to go to Bank B. So I hand you that same $5,000 and you march right over to Bank B. Now Bank B is paying 1% APY. Can I get some drum rolls or something going on? Because at the end of an entire year, Bank B is going to pay you a whopping $50 for banking with them. That to me is an incredible difference in terms of the amount of money that you are getting back in your pocket. That's about 11 Mocha Choco Loca lattes from Starbucks, a week's worth of groceries for some, tanks of gas for others. Heck, it is whatever you need it to be, but the point is it's money back in your pocket. Now, of course, APY is accounted for the entire year, so if you break it down, what you're really making on, say, that $5,000 deposited into a 1% high yield savings account is about $4.17 a month. But nonetheless, if you let that $4.17 compound in that account over time, you are just building money. It's the most simplistic way to build a passive income stream. Now it's here I'm going to encourage every single one of you to go ahead and play around with your own financial numbers and figures, because you are all at different financial spots. So if you have $8,000 in savings, $100,000 in savings, even $4,000, $2,000, or even just $100 in savings, I encourage you to play around with that APY rate, because if you are opening up a savings account, you're gonna wanna take advantage of the money that's always left on the table that most people tend to walk right on by. Whether you're at JP Morgan Chase, TD Bank, PNC, Wells Fargo, Sovereign Bank, Bank of America, open up your banking app and take a look at how much interest they're currently paying you to bank with them. Now, ladies and gentlemen, brace yourself and don't be so surprised when you see a number like 0% or 0.01%. I'm going to be honest with all of you in saying that I currently bank with Chase, but get this, I only have a checkings account with Chase. But if I go ahead and I open up my Chase app and I take a look at how much interest Chase is paying me, you're going to see here that it is next to nothing. So what does a financially savvy folk do? Opening up a savings account, money that you are not going to touch. Perhaps it's that emergency fund that I've spoken about in a different video of mine. I can find that link right up here. You're gonna go ahead and open up an online savings account. Maybe it's with Ally Bank, maybe it's with Goldman Sachs, their Marcus account, or even Barclays. Me personally, I use Capital One, and I've been a satisfied customer with Capital One simply because the rates have not changed drastically over time. The big question always comes about, which is why are some banks able to pay a ton in interest and others not so much? And to simply answer that question, the old brick and mortar banks that are out there, so yes, there's JP Morgans, there's PNCs, TDs, Wells Fargos, all of those brick and mortar locations have to occur overhead expenses. So you have things like paying a property tax on the actual property, paying for office supply, and of course now you have to staff that entire branch. You're stuck paying for all the employees to actually run that bank branch. But when you switch over to an online bank, all of those overhead costs pretty much go away. Meaning now you simply get rewarded in a higher rate of interest. Now, from using Capital One and throughout the year of 2020, their interest rate has remained around 0.3%. Now, when I first started with Capital One years and years ago, their interest rate was 1.5%. Now, I typically keep around $10,000 within my savings account, but I want to point this all out to you that with a 0.3% interest rate, throughout the course of 2020, I made $49.39 from doing absolutely nothing other than storing my money with Capital One in an online savings account. Just a word of caution here, when you go to open up an actual online savings account, you want to be wary of teaser rates. These rates are actually just put up so they're going to give you maybe like 2 to 3 months worth of some high interest rate, and then it's going to dwindle down to next to nothing. So just be cautious. That is primarily why I continue to use Capital One, because they have consistently given me a relatively fair rate in terms of interest. But to that very same end, it's also here, I want to just say, if you haven't opened up a high yield savings account, I would highly recommend doing so immediately, and I mean like right after this video, because the current rate of inflation is hovering around 2 to 3%. If you look at the bank interest rate that you're being paid right now, and it's next to nothing, and for those of you who are currently literally being paid 0% of interest, you are seriously losing money. So that is it. That's all I got for you today. Just a quick tidbit of advice. Now, if you like what you heard, you learned something new, or perhaps you just liked the entire video, go ahead and tap on that thumbs up button. I can assure you it will greatly help me out on my journey in getting the Blue Lion Finance word out there. But moreover, if you have not yet, go ahead and tap on that subscribe button. It is absolutely free. You have nothing to worry about. Now, with all of that being said, I look forward to seeing you in the next video.